Hey everybody, welcome to the stream. I have coffee and club soda. Because of cooldown? What? I learned nothing from that game. No, I understood the game. You take the other person's pieces. Yeah, the screams were fun. Hey Latino. Hey Mark. Karen's in this football league where there's like a lot of them and they pick five teams every week. It's more complicated than I'm saying. I can't even explain like what they're doing, although I do know what they're doing. And then if the team loses, they lose that pick. There's five picks. Each pick is like pick A, pick B, pick C, pick D, pick E. And for each pick, let's say A, you can only pick one team every week that's a different team than the ones you've picked in pick A. So pick A and B can be the same, but once you make pick A, once you make that pick, next week pick A can't be the same team. Although you could use the same team in a different pick. Anyway, then if the team loses, you're out for that pick. So pick A is out for the whole season. So you try to get to the end of it with a pick left. And there's five picks. And so far in both weeks, all five picks won. So Karen's team is still in. She picked the Cowboys, which was funny. I mean, not that she did, her team did. It's a lot of people. Anyway, there's millions if you're the winning team, but you have to split it with a lot of people. So terrible. It's very confused. Yeah. VC Flight, never heard of them. VC Flight, I forgot he existed. Probably has some other name like Taco Vendor. Oh, snap. Has a whole new identity. Yeah, the Grand Swiss is interesting. The only result I know today is Hans beat Pragnananda because I saw it on Twitter. I don't know any other results. So let me go look them up. FIDE Grand Swiss Games. Ooh, round 11. Bluebem, Faruja, Geary, Neman, Iragasi, Keimer, Norderbeck, A Wonder, MVL, Nihal Sarin, Andy Woodward, Yu Yang Yi, Vidit versus Mishra, Esipenko versus Nipo. Let's see, results. Five-way tie for first. Bluebaum, Faruja, Neman, Geary, Keimer. And then there's a million-way tie for sixth. Like basically everybody else in the tournament. Andy Woodward's having a good tournament, as per usual. Did anybody win or just Hans? No, just Hans won. And Andy Woodward. And A Wonder won and Vidit won. Otherwise, there were a lot of draws. Well, Americans are doing well in Grand Swiss. That's good. It's Professor Moriarty. Yeah, all of our streams are on Twitch. Should just be in the video of the day or video on demand or whatever that's called. Whatever VOD stands for. Stands for something. Anyway, I want to give my views on Charlie Kirk because I didn't give my views because I figured the channel would end if I gave my views. Well, I'll give my views anyway. So, two things happened. One is Charlie Kirk was a terrible person, had terrible ideas, and nobody should follow any of his ideas. The second is nobody should kill anybody. I never know if lone gunmen are crazy, or if, I mean, you just want to assume somebody's crazy when they shoot somebody. So if you said what's crazier, Charlie Kirk's ideas or somebody shooting him, it's somebody shooting him. You shouldn't shoot people. And as a vegan, I'm mad at all of you when you eat meat, which is not meat, it's an animal. And you've had that animal killed because you think it's delicious. So, like, animals shouldn't be killed, people shouldn't be killed, nobody should be killed. That's the worst thing ever. I don't agree with people who celebrate his death because they didn't agree with him. I don't want anybody to die. I hate Trump more than I've ever hated anybody, except maybe my ex-wives. And I don't want him to die and be shot and stuff. That's two separate things. Hating somebody, wishing they were being killed. So nobody should be killed. Nobody should be shot. The guy should go to jail for the rest of his life, etc. And and Charlie Kirk was a terrible person. Those two things happened. A terrible person was killed, and nobody should be killed. And obviously, it's ironic that one of his quotes is that school shootings are a byproduct of the Second Amendment, but it's worth it because the Second Amendment's really important. So that's sort of ironic, I guess, if that's what irony is. Technically, it's a school shooting because it was at a school, although I don't think it's counted as a school shooting. Anyway, when people die, that's terrible. It doesn't matter who's dying. It doesn't matter who's doing the killing. It's terrible. So all killing is bad. And whenever you guys are home and you're eating meat, that's bad too. Or if you're out eating meat. All killing is bad. Animals shouldn't be killed. Humans are animals. Humans shouldn't be shot. That's terrible. Anyway, that's my take on it. Is it's the worst thing that's ever happened, and you shouldn't celebrate somebody being shot. That's terrible. I'm from Brazil, and my writing skills aren't great, so I'll be using AI to help me correct my grammar. My ratings are this. I don't have a repertoire for playing D4. Yeah, I don't answer such long-winded questions. You don't, if you're an amateur, you don't need to spend several paragraphs telling me about your opening repertoire. That's not entertaining for people. Although Bonerici was entertained. So I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. my views on what's happening in Gaza and Israel in general are quite well known. My views are pretty well known. I'm super liberal, and as a political stance, like anybody who's very liberal in Congress, I'm more liberal than they are. They're not liberal enough. Like I used to be a fan of Fetterman, but Fetterman's like a Trump lover. So I don't know. Fetterman went nuts. I think he's too tall. I'm gonna sum it up to he's too tall, and it's not his fault. And obviously, anybody who's killed in Gaza is a tragedy because people shouldn't be killed. So, Netanyahu has a lot to answer for. Netanyahu should be tried and punished appropriately for all the death that he's caused. Fetterman was on CNN today, the political show they had with Manu Raju, explaining that everybody Israel kills, no matter where they are, Qatar, Iran, Gaza Strip, doesn't matter. It's all Hamas's fault. What am I, Israeli? Anyway, not a fan of the Israeli government, and I'm pretty mad about what Netanyahu does because Netanyahu has the same name as I do. So I don't like when Bens and Benjamins, act out like that. Although I must admit, I'm pretty happy with Bonerici's cat. Kafagi, you that's the wrong your. How do you tell somebody they're wrong in 3 words and one of your words is wrong? Come on, man. Yeah, war shouldn't exist with an S. I don't understand, Latino. Do you think it is a bad idea that this politics people make these public appearances? You mean Charlie Kirk? You mean somebody who's political and does public? Yeah, if you have a message and you have a forum, then that's America. That's that's what happens. Problem with it's America and you have free speech is in America everybody owns a gun, and people aren't of sound mind where they should be owning a gun. Very few people should own a gun, and yet there's about as many guns in the U.S. as there are people. There's over 300 million guns in the U.S. That seems like overkill. Pardon my French. No pun intended. Yeah, you have to whisper. I think the way you whisper to somebody is you put your cursor over their name and then you either right click or left click and it'll say whisper. And then you click whisper. Click on the game and then choose whisper. Click on the game? What? Calgreasy. What was a bigger upset? Vanderbilt beating South Carolina or Calgreasy beating Ben Feingold? 2 big upsets yesterday. It's whisper quiet. Hi, Chess TV. I'm Ben. I just gave my views on the Charlie Kirk situation, liberals versus conservatives, and what Israel does. So, bye. Nobody agrees with my opinions, so I guess they're all going to leave. But that's fine. If you're a Trump lover, then that's not something we want to see in the chat because he's terrible. And it's my stream. Rawr. Now, Karen doesn't care. She hates Trump as much as I do, but she lets people have their stupid opinions in the chat. Wait, I understand that you won, but you didn't answer my question. Are you more shocked that you won or that Vanderbilt won? Also, how did you win after blundering a piece? Terrible. Charlie Kirk was a young conservative who was very conservative. He made Trump look liberal. And he would travel around the country giving talks, and he had many fans. One of his biggest fans was Trump. Unfortunately, Trump is Trump. See, when they asked Trump yesterday and or 2 days ago, I forgot, I think it was yesterday, you know, are you mourning Charlie Kirk's death? And he said yes. And then Trump's next sentence was, they're building a big ballroom in the White House. It's going to be the greatest ballroom of all time. And I'm the greatest president. They've been trying to make this ballroom for 150 years. But you can see the trucks are here now delivering it. And he went on and on about his ballroom. And he gave like a one-word answer about Charlie Kirk. Then he started talking about his ballroom in the White House. So, yeah. I mean, Trump is going to Trump. It's the greatest ballroom anybody's ever seen. First of all, how can Trump win an election when every time they show him he's dancing like this? That's how he dances. How can you vote for that? Lions should eat tofurkey. It's not a serious question. It's a silly question. There's no reason for humans to kill animals and eat them. You just do because everybody else did before you, and you don't understand that it's not right. Although you sort of do. Some animals eat other animals. Some animals only eat non-animals like gorillas and stuff. And such. Some fish eat other fish. Some just eat plants. The point is, we're humans. We can decide what we want to eat, and deciding to kill and torture and maim billions of animals every day, that's the wrong decision. Asking a question like, should animals eat other animals? Some animals eat animals. My dogs eat other animals. My dogs are not vegan. Although they do like popcorn. My dogs do like vegan food. You can't really ask a serious question because very few people in the chat, with the exceptions of, let's say, my brother and Bonerici, are intelligent enough to ask an intelligent question in the chat. That actually takes intelligence. So you can just blather on endlessly in the chat like I do. And the questions you ask aren't serious because you guys don't possess the brain power to ask a serious question. You're too dumb. No offense. You're on the internet, you're a random person, so that's the way it goes. And there are some people on the internet, there are very few, that actually have the intellectual capacity to ask a reasonable question, but they usually don't come to my chess stream. My chess stream is like people who are drugged out and intoxicated and live in their parents' basements and live in their parents' attics and have addiction problems of their own. And the unemployed. That's who comes to my streams. And there's one other kind of person who comes to my stream, and that's people who go to Vanderbilt. Oh, that's the worst. Man. For information on how long I've been vegan, type !vegan in the chat. You shouldn't question a vegan and ask them why they do stuff. You should question yourself and ask why you do stuff. You shouldn't take people who do the right thing and ask them why they're doing the right thing. You should do the right thing yourself. You should realize there's no reason to eat meat and not eat meat anymore. It's better for you. It's better for the animals. It's better for the environment. It's better for society. So when somebody does something right, you shouldn't question why they're doing something right. You should question yourself on why you're always wrong about everything. You should think about that. Like, man, I'm always wrong. Maybe I shouldn't say stuff. Truth hurts. How do you submit a game? Impossible. We make it very difficult to submit games so that we don't have a lot of games submitted. Also, this is the day when I do game analysis, and instead I insult the audience. See, if you go to other chess streams, they don't insult their audience and tell them how stupid they are. They're like, oh, the audience, thanks for watching my stream. I really appreciate you being here. Actually, it was a sunny day today, so I was yelling at a blue sky. Now, if you want the streamer to be nice to you, you're still at the right channel. You're just watching at the wrong time. You have to watch when Karen streams poker. She's very nice, very forgiving. Although occasionally she gets mad and cusses somebody out, but not like me. Somebody do the Go Ben emote. I want to see what it looks like. Somebody said it looks like the Trump dance. Yeah, but nobody voted for me. What if I ran for office? That doesn't look like the Trump dance. Trump moves his arms back and forth like this. Sometimes like this. His arms move very slowly. He's like a slowed down version of Donkey Kong, you know, when he's dancing. What? I'll get one vote? $3 Brazilian, how many is that? Is that more than like 3 million? Is that like 3 billion? 3 Brazilian? Who was my favorite president? I don't know. Jimmy Carter was pretty good. I was a little kid when he was president. You're from Italy? I went to Italy on my honeymoon 5 years ago with Karen. That was a great trip. We had been married for 3 years, but we hadn't gone on a honeymoon yet because we couldn't afford it. Then we could afford it. We stayed at the St. Regis in Rome. Very nice hotel. They had pocket doors in the room blocking the restroom from the rest of the room. And there were two pocket doors. See, like, here's one door. It's sort of like the way Trump dances. Here's another door. Okay? You see that? And I've never seen this before. If you moved one door one way, the other door went the way you were going the other way. So if I wanted to open both doors, I could open, if they're closed, I could open one door and the other door would move. And then if I wanted to close the doors, I would close one door and the other door would close too. I've never seen pocket doors that do that. That was a fancy schmancy hotel. That was a very good trip. Normally, if you're in a foreign country for a week, you have some issues. Something bad happens. We got rained on when we went to the Coliseum. We were at the... What's the thing next to the Coliseum called? Where you walk around? You know, the ruins. Whatever that's called. We were walking there, walked to the Coliseum. We finished the Coliseum. We're trying to get a taxi and it started raining really badly. But we didn't care. What's the thing next to the Coliseum? The Forum. I did it before anybody posted it. The Los Angeles Coliseum. No. Haunted graveyards. No. No, the Forum. I should know that. I've been to Caesar's Palace several times in Vegas. Chess GMs are paid exactly what they deserve. Nothing. Did you see the Capella Sistina? I could sing a cappella. I don't think so, because I don't know what that is. I'm guessing if I saw it, I would know what it is. Although not necessarily. Is that like the Sistine Chapel? Capella Sistina? That sounds like Sistine Chapel, but in Roman. Then the answer is yes. We did go in the Sistine Chapel. Funky Monk 50 subscribed. Thanks for the sub. Okay, let's do some game analysis now that everybody hates me. Let's see. Okay, this is from NJ Mike. Hi, Ben. Oh, wait, I already looked at this game, right? I already looked at that game. Yeah, that's not right. Never mind. Yeah, never mind what I said. I'm at the wrong place. Okay, here we go. This is from NJ Mike, but I was at last week's. Hi, Ben. This was a 5-minute game on chess.com from last year. I was white and played the Cochran Gambit. My last name is actually Cochran, without the E at the end. So close. Okay, both players are 1800, and it's a 5-minute game played on chess.com. Okay, for those of you who don't know, in the Petrov, when white plays knight takes f7, that's the Cochran Gambit, named after Grandmaster Gambit. I played the Cochran Gambit once in a slow tournament in 1984. I was rated 2250, and my opponent was rated 1400, and I got into a worse ending, which I won. I was a piece down in the ending, but I had a lot of pawns. Named after Johnny Cochran. That's right. Okay, the most common move at the Grandmaster level is c5. The only super GM game I know of in the Cochran Gambit is Topolov-Kramnik, which ended in a draw. When I used to play the Petrov frequently in tournaments, Mac Molnar played the Cochran Gambit against me, and that game ended in a draw also. So maybe it doesn't lose by force. Let's see what the engine says. It says black's not even +1. Although it is Stockfish 17 light. So now it says +1. It doesn't like King E8. Now it says white's better. It says black should play D5. Standard. Now in this position, if black could castle, he'd be better. But he can't castle because that would be in check. And that's the only reason. Rawr. Yeah, the engine says white's much better now because black's king is no good. Now black could play king e8 and castle long. The engine doesn't like queen h5 check, which in a 5-minute game seems like the only move you would ever play. It doesn't like g6, says g6 just loses. Because the d pawn's hanging, so white should play bishop e3, completing development and defending the d pawn. Then later, white could try to play rook f3 to h3. Although trying is the first step to failure. And here the engine wants to play knight takes d4, which I pointed out earlier. Still says black's winning because now black's a piece up and his king is safe. Now, if you're just joining our stream, you probably think both sides castled. When in fact, black played king f7, king e8, king f7, king g8. Knight d8's too passive. Black should play bishop f6. Always play bishop f6. Now it says white's better again. That move just loses all of black's rooks. So white's threatening the rook, and white's threatening knight c7. But white can't do both because my knight, I only got one knight. I can't take the rook and play knight c7. So black should stop one, and then white does the other one. Instead, black blundered and let white take both of his rooks. Very suspicious. Then we get the unusual material imbalance of 2 rooks versus 3 minor pieces. However, white is also 3 pawns ahead. So because white is 3 pawns ahead, white is completely winning. So black's queen is on a8. It's not too good. Yeah, I don't like d5. I like keeping my pawn center, together. But black is still losing. Now it only says that white's +1. It doesn't like the move h3. Okay, and that's a tactical blunder, which is forgivable in a 5-minute game, but not in a slow game. Now black can play bishop h4 with a skewer, and you can't take the bishop because of knight f3 check. So then black would be winning. In fact, black is completely winning because we're not winning the exchange. We're winning a full rook. Because after you move your queen, you can't take the bishop because of knight f3 check. So bishop h4 just wins a rook. So queen f2 is double question mark. Then bishop f6 is double question mark. Now white's better again. That move is question mark because it just walks into knight f4. No reason to allow a knight fork like that. Okay, now black is winning. Black has the nice knight on e5. That move is okay, but I wouldn't think of it. But it's okay. It's funny, black played the obvious way, but it's also good just to move the queen. But I like this way of playing. This way is winning. Okay, now I'd like to pause here for a minute and tell you two things. One is, the engine says black is +5. Black's up a knight. And the second thing I want to tell you is white won this game. Go white. Seems impossible for white to win. The engine says black is +5 still. Now it says black is +7. Now it's equal. Yeah, king to c8 is double question mark. Just allows king c6 and white's threatening e7. So king d8 draws, but black probably saw king takes pawn, but didn't see e7, e8. So black, instead of playing king d8, which draws, played a5, and now e7. Whoa, white didn't play e7? Yeah, e7, then e8. Okay, now white is still winning, so I guess it doesn't matter. King c6 is a blunder which draws. King e7 wins, followed by d6, d7, etc. e7. Now it's a draw with correct play. Okay, that's just terrible. You have to play knight a5 check. And if the king goes anywhere but d6, then black wins. So like now black is winning. King d6, knight b7 check, draw. If king e6, knight d8 check. And this is a draw. Instead, black played knight d6. Frankly, terrible. And black resigned or lost on time, whichever is funnier. Probably resigned, but I'm not sure. Definitely time trouble. Well, hopefully that wasn't the best game of the day. Although it might be. This is club soda. I do still teach cello lessons. If anybody wants cello lessons. Now, I don't play the cello. I never have. And I don't own a cello, but I'll give you cello lessons if you pay me. I played the violin when I was a kid from ages 5 to 10. Then when I was 10, I stopped. And I have an ex-girlfriend who professionally plays the viola and does give viola lessons. But the cello, no. What's the story of Perrier? Once upon a time there was Perrier. Now there's no more Perrier. I need violin lessons. Get some lessons. Club Soda and Salt. This sounds like the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode. There was a 1700 player in Michigan named John Thurman, and he played in the Detroit Symphony Orchestra for 40 years. God damn. And he played the cello, and he would bring his cello to the tournament, and he would leave it in the tournament room where he could see it. He didn't want to leave it in his car because his car might get stolen or they might steal the cello out of the car. So he had it with him. He was a very tall guy. He was about 6'7". He was a monster of a guy. Do you know how to play guitar? I do not. Do you know Eric Satie? Yes. Pat plays guitar. It's Pat. How to find cello lessons? I guess go to the internet and look up cello lessons. It can't be that hard. Okay, thanks for watching this stream, everybody. One game, that's enough. I already streamed earlier today. Oh, wait, I got 6 more games to look at. No. Boo. Okay, the next game is from Sitbear. Sitbear says, I would like to tell you that I saw Bishop D3 coming and had a great tactical sequence planned for it. But I can't because I totally didn't expect that move and thought I was losing material. It just so happens I wasn't. So this is funny. Sitbear forgot to make himself anonymous by putting Sitbear and put his real name. However, his opponent, he took out his real name and put NN. So Sitbear won half the battle. Sitbear plays F4, as he normally does. This is all very good chess so far. I have no complaints. I mean, H6, that's not, that's... What kind of move is that? White's slightly better. Black's queen's misplaced on B6. King H1 is a bit meek. The queen G3 is a mistake. White should play E4 here with advantage. Bishop D3 question mark, knight E5 exclam? I don't understand. My understanding of chess has gotten to a point where I don't understand what's going on. The engine says after knight e5, black should play knight f6. Maybe because bishop b5 check is really strong. No, bishop takes f1. You can't play bishop b5. Rook takes f1 and white's better? Why is white better here? Why can't I just castle? G4, knight f6, G5, and white's better. Boy, I add this game in for always sacrifice the exchange. Okay, so for some reason, sacrificing the exchange is good. As it always is, because always sack the exchange. Okay, white played knight a4. Strange move. a3 is a good move. Knight c2, double question mark. Now it says bishop c3 is winning. No, not bishop d3. I don't know why bishop c3 is winning. Queen c7, bishop d3, rook because the knight's trapped. Okay, I understand. Now bishop c3 wins. Knight takes a1's a blunder. Yeah, now white's obviously winning because white can throw in bishop b5 check after queen c7 and then take the knight. Oh, give me the knight. All right, black's just dead lost. Very bad tactical play from both players, but especially from black because it's a slow game and black's rating was 1843. So black should play better tactically. The tournament is aptly named the Judgment Day tournament. But the time control is only game 30 delay 5. It's not like 40 and 90 or that slow. It's rapid. Not sure why black gave up his h-pawn. Yeah, here white should play knight g6 check and ruin black's pawn structure. That seems fairly obvious. Not sure why he didn't do that. Doesn't matter. And the game ended here. I mean, I wouldn't consider resigning against Sitbear. Sitbear's rating is like 1,700. I wouldn't resign down 2 pieces for a rook against a 1,700. If 2 super grandmasters were playing, black could easily resign, but not 2 class players. No resigning. Anyway, good game. I'm surprised Sitbear didn't write about his opponent resigning so early. Maybe Sitbear didn't think his opponent resigned early. Maybe he thought it was normal. Although black also gave up his h-pawn. So black's down a bishop, a knight, and a pawn for a rook. And maybe it is resignable. I don't know. Wouldn't resign against the 1,700. Have to be down a queen or something. And even then, I would expect to win. I'd resign anyway, because it's good form. But, you know. do people approach you and try to show you games where F3, F6 wasn't a bad move? I was at the World Open about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was playing my game, and some guy walked up to the board in the middle of the round. The round's been going on for 2 hours, and said, "Never play F3," like really loud. So like the whole room heard him. Then he walked away. That's what I mean by, you people aren't the brightest people, so you have to watch out what people say in the chat, because that could have been that guy. That could be all of you. I don't know. Should get a glass with ice. My what's it called? Not psychiatrist. My therapist said I should take a break every hour. I should take a 5-minute break. And I'm taking a 5-minute break because I'm going to get a glass with ice. So go to the bathroom too while I'm at it. So the 5 teams that my wife had today in her group, she had the Cardinals twice. Each line you can pick. You can pick the same team on 2 lines if you want. You can pick the same team on all 5 lines. She had the Cardinals on 2 of them. She had Buffalo Bills. She had the Arizona Cardinals. And she had the Cowboys. Boy, that was a close one. That Cowboys game was amazing. For those of you who didn't watch, as time expired, the Cowboys kicked a 64-yard field goal. God damn. To tie the game. Then in overtime, they kicked a 46-yard field goal to win the game. And people say the NFL isn't scripted. 64, 46. Makes you think. Not sure what. I went to Publix to go shopping after the football games, and I saw somebody wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey. And I said something to them, like, that was some game, and then they agreed. Yeah, 64-yard field goal. You don't see that every day. Every other day. You think Kamer recovers emotionally for tomorrow? Why? What happened to Vincent today? Yeah, but Atlanta's Atlanta. Is Atlanta playing tonight? Is that the game that I'm missing? Atlanta's playing tonight. I knew that a week ago, but then I forgot. Yeah, I wouldn't count on Atlanta for anything. Maybe 7-10, 8-9. He didn't win a +4 position. I didn't see any of the games. Again, the only result that I knew was Pragnanandha lost to Neman, and I don't know the game at all. I don't know any of the games. I got nothing. Okay, next game. It's from Pat. Hey, Pat. Casual 5-minute blitz game against National Master Tom Kama. He had a lot of fun with this one. I'm surprised around move 17 or so, Stockfish prefers white. Tom offered me a draw after 31B4, but I didn't see any harm in trying to press for more. It's Pat. Still theory. Yeah, my engine, which is Stockfish 17 Light, prefers white a little bit, like the whole game so far. White has a better pawn structure, but the position seems like it should be a draw with correct play. This just seems completely drawn. The engine says all zeros. The engine says white is very slightly better. It says bishop g7 just loses. It says king e4 equals. King takes h6, king f5. And black's king is trapped on the side there. I mean, it says equal, but black's up a pawn, so it's a drawn position, but you still take black. But the engine says that bishop g7 just loses, and now you're winning. Yeah, you can't take a draw. You're up a pawn for nothing. You can take the h pawn later. And now it just says you win with c6 and b5. Yeah, nice game. Yeah, there were no blunders in that game. The only mistake that White made was right when he was offering you a draw with bishop g7. Then after takes, he's losing, and then you won. And you were always winning after you took. And the whole game was equal, and that bishop g7's a mistake. Also, when you played bishop g6, the engine wants him to take it and then play bishop f6. And if king h7, then bishop g5 as a better way to be equal. This is like more equal than... Yeah, in fact, it says a4 is the only move to draw. Otherwise, it says White's winning. Because Whites can play, you know, king up and so forth. Yeah, the engine says White's better here. So bishop g7 question mark, and should have played king e4 and get the king active. Move the king up in the endgame. He's a kid chess coach. He should know that. Move your king up in the endgame. Instead, you moved your king up in the endgame. You're not even a coach. You're like some pencil pusher. Can you teach us French? No. I mean, oui, oui. Okay, I gotta go upstairs and take a wicked yes. You're a coach. I thought you were a pencil pusher. I guess push pawns, not pencils. Pragnananta, nanananta, hey, 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 he resigned. That's what Hans Neman would probably say. Well, then you're a good coach because you move your king up in the endgame. Pragnananta, pragnananta, hey, 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 he resigned. That's good you play bishop f8 too. Yeah, like you played bishop f8 here. Very good. And then here you play bishop f8. You played bishop f8 because his h-pawn attacked you. Then you played bishop h8 later, bishop f8 later to win his h-pawn. Also good. take a little break. Is anybody who's currently watching the stream, did any of you watch my earlier stream with Botez's games and such? Botez has a game in beta at Steam. Toasted, did you like the stream, Toast? Will Hans make the candidates? Maybe. I don't know what the tiebreak system is. Well, I played the game. I don't understand it. But I still played okay. There's a cooldown marker right near the pieces that goes from the top to the bottom, which you kept ignoring. Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about. How was Simon38 allowed to put a link in his chat and Mubot didn't, get mad? Ben, do you remember playing me? I don't remember playing anybody. I can show you my game with Gelfand if you're interested in that. I mean, I don't mind that he put a link in. That wasn't my point. The mods went crazy after I said that. My point was, why did Mubot allow that? In Charlotte Spring Open round 1? What? I played 3 tournaments in Charlotte. I don't know which one that was. Did I win black in a Rosalimo? Jim Kinchess subscribed. Hooray. It was a delayed Alapin. You were white. Yeah, that sounds like a game that I played. I think that's where I could have played Queen F3 and won, and I played something else and won anyway. I went to 2 colleges, Clown and Barber. I'm not even sure I played in 3 tournaments in Charlotte this year. I might have played in 2. But I think I played in 3. Okay, let's go to the next game. Ugh. 5-minute game, I am black. A win where I played terribly. Reviewing this game made me audibly chuckle multiple times. Enjoy. Okay, so I have to warn you. Consider yourself warned. This is a 5-minute game, which makes the level not so good, typically. And what'll make it even more not so good is both players are rated 540. So far, the game is pretty good. This is like two super grandmasters playing. I've never seen bishop a4. I've seen bishop e2 and the modern bishop d3. I've also seen queen f3. I've never seen bishop a4. The engine says after h6, black is close to winning. It hates bishop a4. Now it says white's close to winning with c3. Now it says it's equal. Now it says white's better. But just slightly, just slightly. It says king f1 is okay. No, white should take with the queen because white's pawn structure is going to get messed up. He doesn't want his king to be exposed like that. Still better for white. Wow, the engine move is rook a4. And the second engine move is king e2. I don't know which move I like better, rook a4 or king e2. d4, that pawn's not protected so much. Now it says black's better because d4 just gave a pawn away. The engine wants to take the h-pawn. Knight c3? That seems bad. What? Queen takes h2, but the knight's hanging. No, not anymore. Doesn't like knight d5. Now it says white is slightly better after queen e5. Hey, white played the best move. So this is quite funny. And also, I'm not kidding. According to the engine, the best move for black is to long castle. Even though that allows rook takes a7. Long castle's the best move. And it's the most legal move. Then it says it's all zeros. If rook h2, which looks like it wins the queen, bishop d6, queen d6, queen g1, and the engine says all zeros, rook takes a7, etc. Mainly etc. Okay, black played f6. Never play f6. Rook c8. What? Hanging every rook on the board. The engine doesn't like rook c8. No, you could take the rook with check. No. No. Where's Trump? No. White's still winning after rook takes g6. No, that hangs the rook with check again. No. No, you could play rook takes a7 check with advantage. Always play bishop f8. After rook e1 check, black should play knight e3 check because black's attacking the queen. Then rook takes e3 check, d takes e3 is all zeros. The engine says it's completely equal. When he played king f5, now white has mate in 2 by checking the king on h7 and then queen d7 mate because the king can't go back to g6. That's a pretty difficult mate in 2. Instead, white played queen d7 check right away, which is also winning. If I was black, I probably wouldn't want to trade queens. Now after queen g5, black's not even losing anymore, threatening queen g2 mate. This is white slightly better. Now black has forced mate because rook e2 is a blunder. Rook e1? Yay, and black won. That was exciting. Black won because white had a bad pawn structure. I like that game. That was a good game. It's a 5-minute game between two 500 players. What do you want? 43 moves, nobody lost on time. We've all played games like that where both sides make blunders. Yeah, don't tease them or tease them. I'm so itchy. That game gave me hives. All right, time for a break. Let's get a hype train going. Oh, I want to thank Alex Botez for showing us her game, and she donated 20 subs to the channel. So I want to thank her for that too. If you want to see the game, you can go to chessarena.gg. It's a game within Steam. I don't know if the public can see it yet or if it's if it's still private. Game had good graphics. I'll tell her you said so. I don't play people today. I play people on Saturday. Yeah, you guys are having the same weather in Michigan that we're having here in Atlanta. I won't be streaming Friday because Thursday, Friday, and Saturday I'll be in Michigan visiting friends and family. Thursday, my plan when I pick up Iram from Wayne State at 4:20 is to take her to the casino and give her a graduation present. Give her a free roll. My daughter's graduating from Wayne State in December. Yeah, it probably wasn't 4:20. I just said that because I thought that was funny. Let's see when her class ends. It ends at 4:10. Yeah, Thursday she has a class in the engineering building, then in Manugium, then in Old Main. But I'll probably pick her up at 4:20, unless her class ends early. Yeah, I always try to match the shirt with the chessboard as closely as possible. Okay, the next game is from Latino. Hello, Ben. This was a classical game I played yesterday with the white pieces in a league game. I was winning, I think, after the trades on e4, but I missed queen e5. So they drew by reputation. White is 1658 and black is 1678. And it's 90 moves. It says 90 moves in 40 minutes. I guess you're dyslexic because you meant 40 moves in 90 minutes. But either way is good. Yeah, this is like a normal King's Indian. A b6 isn't good. Yeah, white's doing well. You're playing really well with white. The engine doesn't like you taking on c6. It wants you to maintain your bind and just play h4 and play on the king side. But it still says you're much better, so it's fine. Ooh, it doesn't like that move. It says you should play queen e3 or queen e2. And it says white has a winning advantage. Now it says it's equal. Yeah, now it says black is much better by taking on f3. And instead, they repeated. So it was draw by reputation. But the engine thinks black should have played on and taken the knight on f3. Then after queen h6, black can play king f7. And black's king is pretty safe because the rooks can't really get involved. And black is up a lot of pawns. The engine says black is only up 0.66. So it wasn't like you were losing, but the engine wants to play on with black. So basically, here's what happened in the game. You outplayed your opponent, and you got a winning position. And then in this position, you needed to play queen e3 or queen e2, and you would maintain your winning advantage with your kingside attack. Instead, you took. Now his queen is all over you, like Oprah on self-promotion. I mean, black's queen is like Kramnik on crazy. It's all over the place. There's threats everywhere. Draw by reputation. Anyway, that was a good game. Free pawn on e7. Sorry, e2. Free pawn on e2? Might as well be talking about the free pawn on e7. See how the Falcons are doing. 6-3. Not very exciting. Sure thing, Latino. Type exclam analysis, and you can have your game analyzed next week. You have to put your game in Discord in the right channel. And you have to connect your Discord and your Twitch handle. The Rams were in St. Louis when I was there, and they left when I was there. So both. you can't sack the rook on h7 because there's a bishop on h6 blocking your rook. And in the variation I gave at the very end, black takes the knight on f3 instead of giving perpetual, so you don't have a knight to play knight g5 check. So you have to be very specific about what position you're talking about, since rook takes h7 is illegal and knight g5 is illegal in the final position. We can go back to the game. So you can see rook takes h7 is illegal when the black queen is on e4. And in the position you suggest, it's black's turn in this position. And what I'm telling you, and black is checking white all the time. Black should take the knight. There is no knight g5 check because the knight doesn't exist. So rook takes h7 wasn't legal. And when it was legal, black had already played queen takes knight in the variation I gave. So the only thing you're missing is legal moves. And in this position, if you play rook h7, you can't because it's not your turn. And if it was your turn, I wouldn't take because that would lead to checkmate. I would just take the knight on f3, which also probably leads to checkmate. Yeah, white wouldn't take the rook. Let's see, we'll play a4. Yeah, black wouldn't take the rook because that allows checkmate. You don't just win the queen, but this is checkmate. Yeah, basically either white is in check or it's black's turn or rook takes h7 is illegal or the knight isn't there. It's one of them. Latino, if I remember correctly, from a previous stream, you said you were playing 2 games this weekend. How did you do in your other game? Although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you just played the 1 game. But I thought you played 2. Yes, Karen, how it's going. See how the Falcons are doing. Six to 3 in the second quarter. Oh, the other game got canceled? Darn. Are we playing? No, we don't play on Sunday. Sunday I do game analysis for games that people submitted. Atlanta never looks good. I'll never forgive them for losing the Super Bowl to the Patriots. To submit a game, type exclam analysis and do what it says. You need to connect your Discord and your Twitch accounts, then submit the game on Discord to the appropriate channel. And you need to do it before the stream starts. The Lions put up 52 points today. I didn't see any of the game, but I assume I can watch the highlights later on SportsCenter or something. It's one of the few games I didn't see any of. I don't even know how many points the Bears got. Bears. Well, they got 21. That's a lot of points. 73 points. Damn. Jared Goff threw 5 TDs? God damn. Amon St. Brown got 3 TDs? Wow. Yeah, the Bears are bad again. The Bears are always bad. The Bears were good 40 years ago when I was graduating high school. I graduated high school 5 months after the Bears won the Super Bowl. Yeah, that was Dan Orlovsky, the Lions quarterback who stepped out of his own end zone. Okay, the next game. Hello, Ben. This is a rapid game I just played with the black pieces. At some point, I said to myself, quote, "This is the point where I blunder," close quote. And I foolishly castled and blundered my bishop. I didn't resign because I'm a sub of yours, and I cooked up a nasty comeback. Hope you enjoy. Closed quote. Okay, so this is a rapid game. Both players are 14-30. So far, everybody's playing real good. Yeah, that just blunders a bishop to c5. I've done the same tactical blunder at the National Open against Tal Shaked. Unless it was the North American Open. I think it was the National Open. Like 25 years ago, I was white, and I had my bishop on d3 and my queen on e2, and the same thing, c4. So white's winning, of course. I'm not even sure white's winning anymore. White trading off his beautiful bishop. That's the drunken bishop. Black has a nice center. G4? G4? If I was white in this position, I would play G3. G4. The engine went from +2 to white to +3 for black. More than +3. White was so enamored with his knight takes e4 pin trick that he gave up his king side, losing the king side. Well, now black's just winning. Now both knights are attacked. G4. Wow, what a move. It's the move of the day. Bam! Very nice tactical motif. Very nice ending. Wow, G4. Terrible. Yeah, if your opponent has a rook on G8 and a pawn on F5 and a bishop on E6, don't play G4. Leaving the pawn hanging to everything. Just to have this one silly tactic which loses all of your pieces. Boy, what a terrible move, G4. Yeah, the rook sack was nice. Yeah, GG. Bye, Simon38. Larson spells his name with an O, but I get the joke. Yeah, for those of you who were wondering what black does if white declines the rook, then queen f2 is mate right away. Also winning is queen f4, defending mate and threatening mate. But mate is better. But it's nice to have options. It's funny, I looked at the Lions score, and then I looked at the Falcons score. And there was about 70 points difference. See, did Karen answer me? No. I like streaming because I charge my phone. Then when my stream is done, I have 100%. Ah, Bent Larson. I was trying to see where the joke was, Lawful Waffle. Yeah, Bent Larson does spell it with an E. No, I lost to Tall Shockhead. I have a bad score against Tall Shockhead. I call him Misha because his name's Tall. Yeah, I drawn him once and I've lost twice. Former World Junior Champion Tall Shockhead. His claim to fame is he played a game with Kasparov once. Kasparov played a novelty in the Grunfeld that he had prepared for Karpov. And Kasparov won the game eventually. Then they asked him what he thought of his novelty. And he said, it's like using a nuclear weapon to kill a mosquito. God damn. And the SCCF RAG, is that Southern California Chess Federation? I saw Tal Shackhead at Google headquarters in Mountain View when I visited my friend there. We visited Ken Thompson, me, my friend, and Tal Shackhead. Yeah, Ivanchuk's great win against Kasparov is one of my favorite games. Not only is it pedantic random moves, it's shallow. Okay, and the last game is from Bonerici. He writes, have you ever made a move, hit the clock, then immediately said, I resign, signed the scores and ran away to the bathroom to have a cry? Let me know if I resign too soon. This was played in Illinois in a rapid tournament in 1995. So they played like 13 moves of theory, and then Bonerici resigned. Yeah, the engine wants you to play F5 here. F5 makes sense. Yeah, this is where Bonerici blundered. The bishop is needed to control F5 and G4. And Bonerici, whose position is already somewhat worse because he didn't play F5 early, he played bishop A6, which loses the game immediately. Because we could just take and play knight F5 and queen G4. The bishop is needed here. This is a terrible square for the bishop. That pawn's not weak at all. It's defended twice. It can be defended by a pawn. The bishop is needed to defend these key white squares in the position. Then black resigned because white plays knight F5, also known as knife F5. And then the engine says black should sacrifice his queen to avoid getting mated. So no, your resignation was fine. But yeah, I think in this position you're supposed to play F5. How much you got, Fabry Chess? I'm not playing people today. I play subs on Saturday. So come back Saturday and subscribe to the stream. Then I'll play you. Yeah, Pat, knight F5 attacks the queen. Your question is shallow and pedantic. Yeah, I don't think you can wear headphones at official chess tournaments. It has to be some kind of online tournament where they give everybody headphones. If you go to like the World Open, I don't think you can wear headphones. You can't have electronics on you. They have noise canceling headphones when you play in these esport events, but not at regular chess tournaments. Yeah, a lot of people in poker wear headphones. That's correct. I mean, there's a 5-way tie for first, and there's like a 12-way tie for sixth. So, whoever wins tomorrow is going to make it to the candidates. Any of the people who are tied for first win. We won't know until it's over. I haven't been following it with a lot of vigor or rigor. Would you personally be for or against any headphones at official tournaments? Yeah, at official tournaments, you can't wear headphones. You can't have any electronics on you at all. Yeah, I think Geary has white against Hans, and Ferrugia and Bluebaum are playing, and I don't remember who Kamer is playing. I could look at my phone and find out. Yeah, I could just go to the game and have a look at the game see the game Hans beat Progdanadha today. And my video's gone, but I guess that doesn't matter. Okay, this is Hans's game with Progdanadha. This game was played today. Hans is white. Hans always played Bishop F1. No wonder he won. The engine says white's slightly better. It doesn't like Queen A5. It wants to play Queen C5 instead. Now it says white's +1. It says question mark, but the engine says it's fine. And it says that's a very bad move. Never play f6. Queen f1 double question mark. Queen e3 winning. They can't play rook c1 because of rook b7 check. And now it says black resigns. And black resigned. Good game by Hans. He played 95.7 and Pragyananda played 84.3. So Bluebaum is white against Firouzja, Geary's white against Hans, Arjun's white against Kamer, Norderbeck is white against Wonder, MVL's white against Saren, Andy Woodward is white against Yu Young-yi, Vidit's white against Abi Mishra, and Esipenko's white against Nepo. You said 9-7 Atlanta, but it's 9-6. Oh, he adopted the highway, and then he made the lanes wider by getting rid of the white stripes between the lanes, so people would be more comfortable while they're driving. Once, twice, three times a lady, and It's not salsa. Okay, let me raid somebody. Okay, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thanks for watching, everybody.